All right, we're out here at Extreme Couture getting ready for another big fight card. WBC is on tap, but some good stuff to get into. Rob McCullough is here with us, and I wanted to ask you about, we were at an amateur event in Vegas last week, Tough Enough, and you know what, for people who have not gone to the amateur events, they're pretty cool. I don't know if they're that vicious, but I mean, those were three of the nastiest knockouts I've seen. There were two head kick knockouts and a punch knockout. It's a pretty good show.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I was at that show as well. It was a good showing. You know, there's a lot of guys showcasing skills that they're honing, and you know, there's no punches being pulled in those kind of fights. You know, sometimes you get two high-level guys and they kind of seize up on each other, stalemate. Those amateur shows, you know, those guys are going balls to the wall, so it's pretty interesting to watch.
You know, in some ways, almost dangerous too, because I don't know how many amateur fights you had. Obviously, you come from a Muay Thai background, a kickboxing background. But can they really gauge like what level the guys are at? Are they protecting guys? Because some of those guys who got in there look like, you know, they were beginning fighters, and some others look like they had, you know, 8 to 10 fights under their belt.
Yeah, well, that's what they call it, the amateurs. You know, it's kind of, you know, they don't have a professional license. They're kind of in there doing their thing, and the gyms kind of know how to match them up, you know, as far as weight and then, you know, experience.
So, what do you think of the event overall from the later part of the event with Ryan Couture, obviously the son of Randy, who owns the gym here? I thought he looked pretty good. I don't want to jump the gun. I had people going nuts afterwards saying, "Oh, he looks like he's great. You know, he's going to be as good as his dad." Relax, it's an amateur fight. But you know, on some of the basics, he really did look kind of smooth.
Oh yeah, I mean, I had the fortune enough to train with Ryan a little bit before his fight, and watching it, he did very well. Spectacular. He you know, did great transitions on the ground. He just rode that kid out and then subbed him. It was a good fight, good showing for him.
So he's 26 years old. What does he feel like in terms of when you work out with him? Because I know he said he rolls with Gray Maynard. He said he rolls with Tyson Griffin. Those are high-level guys. I mean, is he a guy who can go pro this year? Does he need a lot more seasoning?
You know, I think that's something it's going to be up to him and his management team. But I think, you know, my view, he could, yeah. I've seen a lot of guys that are pro that aren't as good as him, so yeah, he definitely has the skills.
Yeah, so it could be another Couture on the way. And if Randy can stay around long enough and Kim wins, then maybe a year and a half from now we'll have a triple Couture card, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's get into WEC. Interesting card coming up. I want you to break down the card and break down your fight. But, you know, I want you to mention what's going on at 155, because you were the titleist at one time, and then Varner took it from you, and then Cerrone just fought him. You were a big subject of their trash talk. And I'll tell you from Varner's standpoint, he was saying that the win by Cerrone over you didn't mean a whole lot because he took everything out of you and you were a shot fighter by then.
Well, if you watch the fight, then I think you get the, you'll figure that one out.
What do you think of Jamie with some of the, does he kind of get ahead of himself sometimes with some of the talk?
Yeah, I think he does it more for, you know, he's just trying to be mouthy. He's trying to be a young kid and get that, you know, someone's talking about him, if it's good or bad. You know, that's not my style. I just want to get there and fight. You know, it's not drama. It's not WWF.
Right.
You know, so you know, hopefully we'll rematch soon. So.
Did you watch the fight between those two down in San Diego?
I did actually. I watched it, and you know, in my eyes, I didn't think that knee hit him flush at all, and I think he got gassed, and I think he was on his way out, and he knew it, so he kind of was like, "Oh, if I go to the cards, I knew he had the takedowns." He knew that at least. In my mind, and a lot of the people in the crowd that were booing, they were like, "Wow, you know, sack up, you're getting paid to fight. Why don't you fight? Stop crying and saying sorry." But and I don't want to talk a bunch of smack. I just want to punch him in the face.
So the crowd did boom. You know what? I defended him up on the Yahoo blog. But then after that, and I like Jamie, but after that, he came out and continued to kind of rip the crowd and was freaking out about it. And I almost think there's a point where you start to lose the public support if you come off as a whiner.
Yeah, I mean, it is cage fighting. People are, you know, they're paying good money to come watch you fight, not to, you know, make excuses or to hear cry, you know. And you got to leave it all out there, and that's what people are paying for.
Did you think Cerrone fought his normal fight, or do you think he fought a little more laid back?
No, I think Cerrone did. I think he did really well. You know, he couldn't even see out one of his eyes. You know, he was one-eyed, and he was still doing really well. You know, I think his whole style is his takedown defense is, you know, almost nothing. But I think he does that because he has such long legs. He catches people, you know, all the time in submissions. Right. And I think that was almost playing into his favor. Towards the end of the second round, he had a locked-up triangle, and the bell rang. So I mean, you know, that kid's tough. This can be a.
So I would think odds are that once Varner recovers from some of his injuries, because apparently he had a couple of different, you know, broken bones, a hand and a foot, that may be the next matchup. I don't know if you have the inside pipeline to WEC, but it might take a while. They might not be able to do it until, you know, June or July. Yeah. But I'd like to see the rematch.
No, I'd like to see the rematch too.
I thought it was. I thought Varner was winning, But if Cerrone can correct some of the takedown problems and keep it on the feet a little more, I think it could be a real nasty fight. And it was a nasty fight. Both guys beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah, it was. It got a little blah towards around the fourth. You're just kind of like, all right, like, hey. But, it was interesting.
Yeah. You know what? I thought the card in general, and I've covered some WEC, and I cover a lot more UFC, and I still think WEC in general is under-publicized. And I don't know if it's ever going to reach the level of UFC, but I got to tell you, if they have enough, young prospects at 135 and 45 and 55, I don't see why it's not going to explode, because we know that now boxing, that's where it's at. I mean, the heavyweights in boxing, it's done. Yeah. So there's got to be just as many guys out there eventually who are going to be great at those lower weights in MMA.
I definitely agree. There's a lot of guys out there. As soon as they started coming up with these lighter weights, I'm getting emails from people all over the country. Younger guys, smaller guys that are, hey, I'd love to come train with you, man. So it's just a matter of time. This sport's evolving so fast. Now with the smaller weight classes, you can't wait to see what's going to happen in the future.
All right, so what do you think happens in your fight? Different style in terms of what you fought in the past. Marcus Hicks, tough guy. He comes charging and he wants to get it to the ground.
Oh yeah, for sure. Being a stand-up guy, being a Thai boxer, coming from that background and getting into it, when I first started, it was all wrestlers. He's a stand-up guy to take me down. So, that's the same game plan I've worked from day one. Just coming out here and training at Extreme Couture with Sean Tompkins and everybody out here. It's awesome. Such high caliber guys. I'm in great shape for this fight. I predict, something violent, something dramatic, probably in the first round.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So,
what I would think here we mentioned some of the guys who fight at 55, especially with their wrestling backgrounds. I mean, is Hicks going to bring anything that's is much more explosive than a guy like Ray Maynard, a guy like Tyson Griffin, especially since both of those guys, folks, if you see them around the gym, they don't look like they're 55s either. And not that Hicks is a tiny guy, but these guys are gigantic.
Yeah, at one point I thought I was kind of a big 55er, and now I'm just kind of like, yeah, okay. I just come in, hopefully don't get beat up too much and, get out and, get my work done. So, Hicks is not bringing anything I haven't seen in my training camp here. So, tune in March 1st for this one. It's going to be a good one.
All right, give me your read on the main event, because I'm really stoked about the 45 division. I think as they keep adding fighters, too, and more guys come on board, it's going to be sick. And, I like Uriah Faber. I think Uriah's tremendous. He is a small guy for 45, though. He walks around about like 153. You've got two really big 145ers who are pretty skilled. I don't know everything that Mike Brown has to offer. I've seen a little more of Garcia. And Garcia's big and he can throw. So is this a fight that Brown wants to get to the ground? How do you think it plays out?
I'm thinking that Brown's going to try to force the ground, and I think that Garcia definitely has the height advantage as well as the stand-up. I see it going in his favor.
Yeah.
And he comes from a good camp too, Jackson camp. So we'll see.
I mean, that's the other thing that's getting crazy now too is, and you guys have a hell of a reputation here at Extreme Couture, and Tompkins is a really good coach, but I think there's this evolution now, not only with the fighters, but with the coaching and the game planning coming in, where you're seeing, I hate to say it, and I've said it a couple times up on the blog, but I think there were a lot of factors in that BJ Penn George St. Pierre fight, but I think one of the biggest factors is BJ's camp got out coached. He's a great fighter, but at that level, you need the tips. You have to be led in a certain direction to execute. And I thought George's plan just blew away BJ's plan.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. It's coming down to the sport's evolving. Like I said, it's getting so popular that people training camps, they're coming together. They're doing everything, high altitude training. They're doing all sorts of stuff. And a game plan's great, especially when you're in the midst of a battle, a good one like that, and you got two high-level guys. A good coaching is going to help you in between.
All right, there you go. Rob McCullough coming up, WEC. Make sure you watch it down in Corpus Christi. Excited to go to Texas?
I am. I've never been to Corpus Christi.